Jang Dong-su is a notorious crime lord who dominates the Kaeon underworld with an iron fist. Unlike other bosses who sit back and give orders, Jang prefers to let his fists do the talking. Built like a heavyweight and always dressed in sharp suits, he's as brutal as he is stylish. To him, violence is just a tool to maintain order, and anyone foolish enough to cross him pays in blood. He commands thousands, yet his reign nearly ends when a mysterious stranger ambushes and stabs him. But this attacker isn't a rival gangster. He's a venomous predator who kills not for money or revenge, but for the sheer sick thrill of it. Armed with a hidden knife and a chilling smile, he's the only one crazy enough to declare war on both the underworld and the law. This forces Jang into an unlikely alliance. He must team up with a cop to hunt the maniac. Don't get it twisted. This isn't friendship. They strike a high-stakes deal. Whoever catches the devil first decides his fate, court or street justice. It all begins on a quiet, deserted night in Cheonan, South Korea. On a lonely road, a minor fender bender occurs. The victim simply wants to record the damage for insurance, avoiding trouble, but the other driver stands silently, waiting. As soon as the man lets his guard down, the stranger ruthlessly stabs him to death and vanishes. The murder spreads through the news quickly. It isn't the first. Missing persons reports have been piling up, but this killer is a pro. Clean, fast, leaving no trace. The police are still clueless. Meanwhile, Detective Jung Tae-seok is stuck in traffic on his way to the scene. He spots some gangsters and heads toward their gambling den, but the thugs block him, refusing entry. They try to bribe him, but Tae-seok isn't interested. He beats them down and storms in to arrest a young punk for illegally cashing out game tickets. Unaware, he's walked straight into Jang Dong-su's territory. Jang is training when he hears a cop is meddling in his business. He calls the police chief, who relies on Jang's monthly payoff to look the other way. The chief berates Tae-seok over the phone, but Tae-seok lies, claiming he's already at the crime scene, and hangs up. In truth, he's only using the ticket scalper as a bike taxi to cut through traffic. Arriving at the scene, Tae-seok finds the victim stabbed dozens of times. The car is drenched in blood. Handprints smeared across the window reveal the victim's desperation in his final moment. A suspicious paint scratch on the rear bumper catches Tae-seok's eye, and he photographs it. After analyzing the evidence, he reports to his captain that this is the work of a serial killer. The stab wounds match perfectly, the same length and width, confirming the same blade was used. The captain refuses to listen, scolding Tae-seok for raiding the gangster's turf earlier, and removes him from the case. Tae-seok is furious. As night falls, Jang Dong-su sends his men ahead and drives home alone, but he's rear-ended by a car. Stepping out to inspect the damage, he sets the stage for what's coming next. The mysterious driver apologizes, blaming the slippery road for not braking in time. Money is no object to him, and the car isn't badly damaged. Yang waves him off, but as soon as he turns to get back into his car, the stranger lunges and stabs him. Luckily, Jang manages to block the second strike and throws the attacker backward. Although the killer has the weapon advantage, he picked the wrong target tonight. He messed with a heavyweight mob boss. Jang wrestles the knife away and stabs the attacker in the chest. Realizing he is outmatched, the killer jumps back into his car, runs Jang over to escape, and speeds off. Due to excessive blood loss, Jang faints in the middle of the road, but is luckily spotted by a passerby and rushed to the emergency room. Hearing the news, his gang assumes it was a hit by a rival mob. Enraged, they launch a brutal surprise attack on their enemies, catching them completely off guard. Meanwhile, the mysterious killer hides in the woods and staples his own chest wound shut. Since he failed to take Jang's life, he hunts another victim to continue his killing spree. Back at the hospital, Jang survives the critical window and wakes up. His subordinate reports the retaliation attack, but Jang tells him it wasn't the work of a rival gang. Based on the killer's moves, Jang knew instantly this guy wasn't some street thug. He was a calculated killer. Luckily, Jang caught the license plate number before passing out, handing it to his crew with one order: find him at all costs for payback. Hearing that the mob boss got hit, Tae-suk rushes to the hospital, eager to squeeze him for intel, but Jang keeps his mouth shut, viewing the police as useless and arrogantly claiming he'll catch the attacker long before the cops ever do. Frustrated and empty-handed, Tae-suk decides to investigate on his own. He sneaks into the parking lot to check Jang's car. Sure enough, he finds a paint scratch on the rear bumper identical to the mark on the previous victim's vehicle. Despite being a notorious crime lord in Cheonan, getting nearly killed by a random nobody caused Jang's street cred to tank harder than crypto after a Fed announcement. To make matters worse, his rival Sang-do shows up to mock him. He laughs, saying that in 40 years, he's never seen a mob boss recovering in a hospital bed. Sang-do demands compensation for his territory getting trashed and medical bills for his injured men. Before leaving, he adds a final insult: "If I were you, I'd be too ashamed to even show my face." Meanwhile, Tae-suk pleads with the chief to let him work the case, presenting his theory, but the chief still doesn't buy it and kicks him out. That same night, the bloodshed continues. The killer ambushes a truck driver and hijacks the vehicle. Once inside, he finds a passenger sleeping in the back, and we all know what happens next. The next day, Jang hires a sketch artist to draw the killer's face from memory and hands the image to his crew to hunt him down. Tae-suk, not giving up, raids Jang's gambling dens again. He confronts the boss with evidence of illegal operations, using it as leverage to force him into a partnership. At first, Jang refuses, but then Tae-suk drops the truth. The man who stabbed him is a serial killer. Unlike typical psychos who target women or the weak, this guy is different. He hunts anyone, even a crime lord. If they don't stop him now, more people will die. The attack didn't just hurt Jang physically, it destroyed his business. With his reputation in the gutter, clients are canceling condo contracts, and major investors are freezing their funds. It's a total financial disaster. To save his empire, Jang needs to find the killer fast and restore his dominance. Good news arrives when his men locate the killer's abandoned car at a rest stop. The driver is long gone. But about 2 miles away, they find a knife. Jang recognizes it immediately. It belongs to the attacker. Realizing that forensics and evidence analysis aren't exactly a gangster's strong suit, Jang calls Tae-suk for a sit-down. He hands over the killer's car keys and proposes a joint operation. Jang's side provides manpower and funding, while Tae-suk handles the investigation. But there's a catch. Whoever catches him first keeps him. If the cops win, the killer goes to prison. If the gangsters get him first, he enters a world of pain far worse than any jail cell. A punishment fitting for someone who dared to ruin a crime lord's reputation. Tae-suk agrees. Taking the sketch and evidence back to his station, Tae-suk assembles a small skeleton crew with just 2 trusted partners to keep things quiet. Meanwhile, to ensure the investigation goes smoothly without interference, Jang makes a ruthless move. He orders his men to take out rival Sang-do using the serial killer's knife they found. When police search the scene, they find the knife deliberately left behind. The police chief is furious, mostly because his monthly bribe money from Sang-do just dried up. So he orders the team to solve the case at any cost. Forensics confirms the DNA on the knife matches the serial killer, but Tae-suk connects the dots instantly. He knows Jang was the one who found that knife. Realizing it's a setup, he storms over to confront the mob boss. Tae-suk tries to beat a confession out of him, but ends up getting his ass handed to him by Jang. Jang calmly admits to ending Sang-do. His master plan? To turn the murder into a massive media sensation. He wants the police and the press to hunt the killer down, effectively flushing him out. Tae-suk hates the idea. He wanted a quiet investigation, knowing that once the media gets involved, major crimes will swoop in and steal all the credit. Sure enough, Sang-do's death becomes the #1 trending topic in the city. The news reaches the real killer, and he is livid. Since losing his knife at the rest stop, he hasn't been able to work, and now someone is copycatting his style. At Sang-do's funeral, the killer shows up. He knows Jang is pulling the strings, but he's not there to pay respects. He slips a note to Sang-do's right-hand man, clarifying he didn't kill the boss. Reading the note, the henchman realizes the killer didn't take out Sang-do. It was Jang Dong-su all along. Meanwhile, for the killer, it's business as usual. He picks up a brand new knife at a store, ready to resume his dark work. The next day, Jang and Tae-suk meet to inspect the killer's car for clues, but they are ambushed by Sang. who surround them, out for blood and revenge. A brutal brawl breaks out. In a moment of distraction, Tae-seok takes a heavy blow to the head, but dazed, he remains alert enough to dodge follow-up strikes. Tae-seok gets pinned down and nearly stabbed, but in a desperate struggle, he pushes the attacker back, accidentally driving the man's own knife into his chest. Jang finishes off the last attacker. When the dust settles, Tae-seok is shaken. He realizes he just took a life. Seeing the panic in the cop's eyes, Jang steps up and tells him to relax. He'll handle the cleanup. The next day, the chief dumps a new case on Tae-seok, a kidnapping involving a real estate tycoon. Already burnt out, Tae-seok is furious about juggling another investigation, but he has no choice. He sets up a sting operation at the ransom drop-off. The victim's wife, a nervous wreck, hands the money bag to a random restaurant owner instead of the target. To make matters worse, she keeps glancing at Tae-seok's hiding spot, blowing his cover. Tae-seok spots a man lurking nearby. Realizing he's been exposed, the stranger immediately turns to flee. Identifying him as a highly suspicious target, Tae-seok screams for his team to give chase. The man is fast, using a maze of alleyways to his advantage. Despite splitting up to cut him off, the team loses him. Tae-seok interrogates the restaurant owner who accepted the bag. She admits a stranger paid her to take it. The trail is cold. The only lead is a liquor bottle the killer drank from while waiting, but it's buried in a local landfill. Finding it now is like looking for a needle in a haystack. At the station, a breakthrough happens. A female colleague reports a fingerprint match on the steering wheel and identifies a suspect, giving Tae-seok an address. The landlady reveals the tenant hasn't been back in 3 months, though he still pays rent on time, so she keeps the room. Tae-seok enters the apartment. It's creepy, flanked by fish tanks thick with green moss, and on the wall hangs a 19th century Western classical painting, giving the place an eerie vibe. In the desk drawer, Tae-seok finds many bottles of sodium hydroxide. The most critical clue is the landlord's family photo. Placed alongside the sketch Jang provided, it's a perfect match. Undoubtedly, the man both sides are hunting. Tae-seok calls Jang to update him and plays a voice recording obtained from the kidnapping victim's house. Hearing the voice, the boss instantly recognizes it as the man he has been searching for all this time. For the first time, the organization and the police sit in the same room to investigate together. Tensions rise, leading to a physical altercation, but since they are in the same boat, they quickly settle down and mobilize. Their goal, find the man in the photo at all costs. They split into teams of 5 to move covertly. If one team spots him, they signal everyone to converge and capture him. They scour every housing unit, motel, market, and public space. Despite searching nearly the entire city for days, there is still no trace of him. One rainy day, while Jung waits for his men to pick him up, he sees a high school student waiting for the bus. Seeing her getting soaked, Jang kindly gives her his umbrella. The moment she steps onto the bus, he is shocked to see the target sitting right inside. Inevitably, tragedy happens. News reaches Jang that the student was attacked on her way home. Seeing the umbrella at the scene, he realizes it was the girl from the morning. Devastated and losing all appetite, Jang immediately orders his men to take action, searching everything near bus route 32. At this time, Jang, Tae-seok, and his men stake out a deserted road. Suddenly, a white car drives in slowly. It's the target, looking for prey. Realizing he has been discovered, he slams on the gas to escape. The boss and Tae-seok immediately give chase. In this pursuit, they are no longer partners, but wolves fighting over a single prize. Whoever catches the prey gets to keep it. In his attempt to cut off the target without watching the road, Tae-seok crashes straight into a roadside food stall. Now only Jang is left chasing, refusing to let the prey escape. Unexpectedly, at an intersection, all 3 cars crash. When they rush to the car, the suspect has already fled. They pursue him, but he slips into dark alleyways. Oh-sung is taken out by the target the moment he runs into a dark path. Following the trail, Jang runs into a karaoke bar. Although he searches the rooms, he can't find him. Suddenly, he notices 2 terrified girls. Knowing the target is in the restroom, Jang kicks the door open and pins him down. He unleashes strikes so powerful they break the door. The suspect can no longer resist. The prize officially belongs to the boss. Jang calls Tae-seok to announce the news, infuriating the cop. Tae-seok quickly calls his team to find Jang. The suspect is truly unstable. Even now, he is still smiling brightly. Just as Jang prepares to deliver his own justice, Tae-seok speeds in and rams his car into the target, knocking him unconscious. He quickly takes the suspect to the police station. The next day, news breaks. The police have caught the serial criminal. The media and victims' families gather in large numbers. Inside, the suspect shows no fear, calmly eating breakfast and watching the news about himself. However, the next report shocks everyone. The boss's entire crew has been arrested for operating illegal gambling machines, and Jang Dong-su is now a wanted man. The trial takes place, but the prosecution struggles with no direct evidence linking the suspect to the crimes. Victims' families are heartbroken. The defendant knows he has the upper hand, sitting smugly. Even the knife is useless without proof confirming ownership. The final resort, the only surviving victim must testify. And that victim is Jang Dong-su. To understand why he is a wanted man yet still shows up, we go back to last night. Tae-seok tracks down Jang, furious about having his operation ruined and his prize stolen. Jang strikes the detective repeatedly, but Tae-seok plays a recording where Jang admits eliminating Sang-do. If it leaks, both go down. Jang for the crime, Tae-seok for colluding with the underworld. Desperate, the cop begs Jang to turn himself in and testify, or the target walks free. That is why Jang Dong-su stands in the courtroom today, to start proving his case. Jang removes his shirt, pointing to the scars while describing the attack. He forces Kyung-ho to remove his shirt as well, revealing a scar on his left chest where Jang had struck him. He produces a piece of paper, the note the target had sent to Sang-do's henchman, attempting to prove he wasn't the one who killed Sang-do. Ultimately, Jang receives a life sentence, as he confesses he eliminated Sang-do to ensure the target's conviction. The gamble pays off. Kyung-ho is sentenced to death thanks to the investigation's success. Tae-seok's team receives a major promotion. As for Jang Dong-su, he has lost nearly everything. His crew arrested, his loyal right-hand man taken out by the target. Getting locked up was his plan all along. He wants to punish Kyung-ho before the state executes him. Perhaps Jang won't wait for the law. He intends to be the executioner himself.